This Suburban is extremely dangerous to drive, but the dealer says it's safe. Keep going, nothing's wrong. What a lie. Let's find out what's going on with this Suburban. Let's get started. This is a 2015 Chevrolet Suburban. It's in pretty good shape. It's definitely a kid hauler. They got all the child seats and things in it. You'll see it when Mrs. Wisser give you guys the interior review. But this one is dangerous to drive. I'll read you the note that the owner left here in a little bit, but she mentions in several instances where the rear end fishtails and does all kinds of crazy things. Like, it could kill somebody. And I definitely don't want the little kids that ride in this to be hurt. But the dealer says it's fine. There's nothing wrong. Stop bringing this to the vehicle, basically. We're going to show you today what we found and how there's absolutely something wrong with the vehicle that causes this issue. But before we dive in, let's take a look around this Suburban. So the headlights are clear. We do see some bug guts on it from driving probably in the country, but we're not going to see too much else wrong with the vehicle. It's in fairly good shape. It does have some dirt on it from driving, again, probably in the country. I think these are 20-inch wheels, guys. Let me check. Those are 5-spoke 20s. They do look nice. I like 20s on these vehicles. There's a couple of little rub spots that could be fixed with some touch-up paint. Being it's white, it'll be easy to do that. It does have a receiver hitch built into it. But as you're seeing, it's in pretty good shape. Definitely a vehicle that's worth putting some money into and fixing. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. Here's our 5.3 liter engine. It's not exactly the same as like the early 2000s 5.3s. Very much similar, but a lot of different technologies added to it. But one thing that it has in common with those older 5.3s, broken exhaust bolts. This one's not exempt from that issue. It has 3 or 4 bolts, a couple on each side. This one's harder to see because it's on the passenger side. There's lots of hoses in the way, but the very front bolt and one near the rear is broken. The head of the bolt is missing. That is expensive. It's usually between a 6 and an 8 hour job simply because you got to remove both exhaust manifolds. These are broken flush with the cylinder head, which means hopefully they might come out, but very likely they're going to have to be drilled out with an easy out, which means new exhaust manifold gaskets. And with 200,000 miles nearly on it, it doesn't make sense to put the old plugs and wires on. We're going to do that as well. It's going to be pretty expensive to get those taken care of. But that's pretty much all that's wrong in the engine bay. Let's go ahead and jump into the interior and let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around.
Okay, ladies and gents, 190,269 miles. Wow, there's a lot of miles on here, but it's looking really nice. That gauge cluster, I love all the gauges on there. You can totally see what's going on. You don't have to flip through 12 different screens to find out, what's my oil pressure? Hey, what's the temperature of the engine? It's all right there in front of you. Love that. As we move up, dash is looking good. Looks like she's got probably a baby cam on there. They didn't have that when our kids were little, but hey, that would be nice and easy. Keep an eye on the kid without having to turn around all the time. As we move down, got nice accents over there above our glove box, nice infotainment screen, simple controls for our HVAC system, and a few baubles to keep the kids, entertained, which, you want to do when you're driving down the road, hopefully in a safe vehicle. Look at our armrest. It is very large. Got that nice spot there for the cell phone. Keep it from going every which way. And of course, she's got her organizer in her. Hopefully she's doing okay because she left her organizer in her car. This is why people come back and see their car in carnage sometimes, is they leave things in here. As we look at our seat, a little bit of bolster there on the side, which keeps you in the seat, especially when I guess this thing is fishtailing down the road. Wow. Got a little bit of a wood accent there on our door panel. As we move to the back seat, this is what I hate. We have the seat for an infant, we have a seat for a bigger toddler, and we have a seat for a little toddler. So this person has probably a small infant, definitely under 1, have one maybe about 3 or so, and then one back there in the back for maybe 5 to 7, I'm guessing. Wow, that's a lot of kids to be hauling in a car that's supposedly safe, the dealer says, and it's not. But even with all the kids in here, everything's looking good. I don't see any, remnants of Happy Meals in there. I don't see any, leftover French fries. So looking good. Headliner, great condition as well. It's got dual screens back there to keep the kids also entertained with a movie on a long trip. Everything's looking nice. As we're back to the steering wheel, we've got the bow tie in the center and a few buttons on each side. Nothing overly complicated, just enough to make sure she's keeping that focus on the road, especially if this thing is not driving like it should be. Let's get back to the Wizard and see what exactly is going on.
So I have the handwritten note that she left for us. And I'm going to read it to you guys about what's going on here. It says, about 6 years ago, I had the shocks replaced, but over the last few months, going over any type of bump is very rough, especially in the back. All 4 tires are new, and after I had the tires changed, I took it back to the dealership to have it looked at while they were doing the balance and the alignment. They checked it and said everything's fine. There's nothing that needs to be done. Basically, you're just hearing things or feeling things that aren't there. It says as she's driving it after that, especially if she goes over 60, the front end shakes, and the back end is known to fishtail, almost lose control. Vehicle's almost coming on 200,000 miles. I would like you to check this over and figure out what's going on. I have a feeling that it's not fine. Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on? Wizard, why is this bouncing around? Wizard, are you cheating on me? Wizard!
No, we're just bouncing the vehicle so we can... What's on your mind?
Well, I was seeing a car rocking. You're not supposed to go knocking.
No, we're not doing that. Anyways, let's focus on this tire here. We're going to bounce it again for you guys. There's nothing weird going on. I don't know what Mrs. was thinking.
Well, you know, a bouncing car usually is, reason for concern.
Yeah, well, there's no concern here.
I hope not. Juniorman's there.
So the vehicle should move, the tire should not, but you're going to see the tire actually bounces up in the air. The whole wheel bounces. Look at that, guys. It gets air. It actually bounces in the air. So if the Suburban is rocking, don't bother knocking, Mrs. Wizard.
That's what I was worried about there, Wizard. Come on.
No. But in all seriousness, guys, does that look fine to you? Does that look like, be quiet, go away, there's nothing wrong with your car, it's fine? Is it fine? Hell no, it's not fine. It's been a long time since I've seen a vehicle do this where you bounce the back end and the whole tire bounces in the air. That is extremely unsafe. And it really, actually guys, it just really pisses me off. I'm sorry. There's children that ride in this thing. They could be injured, they could be killed, and the dealership says this is fine? Let's get this thing on the lift and show you guys what we found. So we'll do a quick inspection while we're under here as well. I don't see anything leaking from the radiator area. We have our shield in the way, but everything's nice and dry. We'll check back here real quick before we move to the wheels. Here's our oil pan. There's a very slight seepage, but nothing that's worth a big tear down or anything. So nothing serious going on here other than those exhaust manifold bolts I talked to you guys about. Drive shaft is good there. Now let's check out these wheels. The brakes are about 70% remaining. The sway bar links are good. And this strut is just starting to blow out. You can see the oil starting to seep out here. Brakes are about 60-70% over here. Sway bar link is good, nothing loose. But look at our strut here. It's coated in oil. Ugh. So we know the front struts are blown out for sure. They got oil starting to come out on this side and completely coating the whole body of the strut on this side. That's not fine. Let's keep on moving back. Here's our transmission. Everything's nice and dry. There's multiple different areas on this vehicle. We're going to recommend some services due to the miles and age, but nothing leaking there. Transfer case, not a drop. Very happy to see that. The back of the drive shaft there is fine. Our rear drive shaft is in good shape. Our exhaust is all intact. Fuel tank's not leaking anything. Differential's not leaking anything. Let's check out these brakes. About 50% on the rear here. Now look at this shock. The air suspension portion of it is blown, and it's just leaking all of its Magna-Ride solution out. That is completely blown out. It's actually, guys, double blown out. The hydraulic portion of the shock is blown out. We see the fluid coming out, but the airbag part of the air ride suspension is also blown out. So double blown out. Let's head on over to the other side. Brakes are about 50%. Sway bar link is good. But same scenario over here. This little boot is blown out and you can see the wetness. This is completely, guys, this is bad. Really, really bad. We do see some tearing going on the Parking brake cable, we'll let the customer know about that. That's definitely not good, but that's not really a safety concern as bad as this is. We saw that the suspension is blown as far as the airbag portions of the shocks, so that led me to believe, I know from experience, our compressor is also probably dead because it ran and ran and ran trying to fill these things up, and they never would fill up because they're blown. And we verified, we put power to the compressor, which is right here, and it's dead. But wait, they just got new tires put on this. They had it to their dealer to put tires and get an alignment and balance, and asked them what's wrong with the suspension. How do you look at this and say, it's fine, just keep driving it, there's nothing wrong here? I think that the person that did the inspection or did the work on this might need to have a drug test. Something is seriously wrong with that inspection. Let's get this thing back on the ground. Oh, and the spare is fine. Junior Man actually took this on a road test just to verify, is it just floaty or is it stiff or what's going on, kind of get an idea of just how bad it was. And he went over a couple speed bumps and went over a couple potholes, and he said a couple times he almost felt like he was about to lose control of the vehicle. It was doing this. He was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to slowly go back to the shop now. I don't need to see anymore. This is dangerous. What kind of world do we live in, guys, when you take your vehicle to a dealership, a Chevrolet dealership, with a vehicle that's in a condition that could harm your children, and they say, I don't see anything wrong, looks good to me, keep on driving. This lady wants to get it fixed. She has the cash. She wants to pay to do the work. Why would you, even from a profit standpoint, they lost out on the job. They didn't even get to make any money on the shocks. But more importantly than the profit is the safety of this mother and her children. This thing could leap out in front of traffic. It could lose control. She could hit a telephone pole. The shocks are so bad. You guys saw it. The tire hops with the whole car. It's so bad. That's why it's fishtailing. That's why it's having these concerns where it could lose control. So there's more to the story. Just wait. There's more. Not only did they miss finding out what's wrong with the suspension, but unfortunately, this customer purchased a vehicle with MagnaRide shocks all the way around and air suspension in the back, which is great when it's new. But when it breaks, it almost costs 5 times more money to get it fixed. The customer has approved the shocks and things, but it's going to be over $4,000. These shocks and struts on this vehicle, where a normal vehicle would be $50, $100 a piece, these are $800 each. Not for the 4. It's each. $800, $800, $800, $800, and the suspension compressor is blown out. Another $800 to $900 for that. Oh, but guess what? We haven't even added labor to that yet. That's just the parts. Over $4,000. The labor is actually not going to be that much. It's really not. It doesn't take much to swap out some struts and put a new compressor on. The parts alone drive this thing over $4,000. I feel bad for her that it's bad enough that she was lied to blatantly. And you know, I don't even know if it was a lie. I think the person who inspected it was so stupid. They didn't even know what they're looking at. It has to be, guys. It has to be. Finally, she gets it to Omega to get the real answer. Yes, your shocks are blown out. You have to get them replaced. You're going to get hurt. And then to get a double whammy, it's also going to be over $4,000. Now we did let the customer know about the exhaust manifold bolts just to do this job with spark plugs, spark plug wires, exhaust manifold gaskets, all new exhaust manifold bolts. The labor to remove them, to drill out all the broken ones, $1,500. I've done several sets of these back when I used to work at another shop, and they were always over $1,000, always. It's very labor intensive. It's mostly labor, it's not so much the parts, but drilling out those bolts can be hours on some of them, especially in the back. Very, very expensive. And then we mentioned the services that need to be caught up on with the fluids and things. The customer said, I just bought tires. Now I have the shocks and struts. The bank account needs to have a break from all this. I need to recuperate here. Can I do those other things 6 months from now? And I said, totally. The fluids are not going to just cause an accident or anything, and the exhaust manifold bolts might get annoying, but it's not going to cause a scene or an accident or anything. So 6 months from now, we'll tackle those other issues. Right now, we're definitely doing all 4 shocks and struts and a new air compressor for the air suspension in the back of this vehicle, so that it'll get it all operating properly, and most importantly, be safe to drive. Right now, it is not safe to drive at all. But it was supposed to be fine, guys. It's fine. So if you're running into a case where you just don't trust the shop or the dealership you're at, where the price is too high, or in this case, stupidly too low, really stupid on their part. Not only did they risk this person's life, but they lost out on a bunch of profit. On a business perspective, it's dumb. But if you're having that issue, just like you would with your doctor or surgeon, get a second opinion. Go to another shop, just like this customer has. They know Omega is trustworthy and honest. We definitely gave her the honest-to-God diagnosis of what's wrong with her car, and it's unfortunate it's so expensive, but we now know, yes, there is something wrong with your vehicle, and it is unsafe. It has to be fixed. Get a second opinion. It's definitely a big deal. So definitely wanted to get a video out for you guys to show you this thing, how it bounces in the rear end. When it first came in, Junior Mint bounced it just to check it, and we were like, oh my God. All the techs in the shop, we all like huddled around this thing. They were like, what? They said this was fine? Guys, we're angry. We're all angry. Danielson's angry. Junior Mint's angry. This is stupid. But we are going to get it fixed, and if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this and do all the shocks and struts, make it safe again, or work on any of these vehicles in the shop, a lot of the tools we use in the shop are for sale. Our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. If you purchase anything there, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button because we're overflowing with cars right now, which means lots of videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.